welcome to the Finest Women in Real Estate. I am your host, Kimberly Whitfield, and I am so happy to be here today with some of the finest who are going to help you learn how they have overcome obstacles and also helped others to overcome obstacles. So we have with you today, we have Mary Ann Chanthala. She's a real estate agent at Big Block Realty. Mary Ann, you have been you are the current featured agent for a few episodes, right? For this show especially. Yes. And you have been coined the Cookie Lady, and maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that as we get into to how you've honed your craft. We also have Amy Lanci. Amy Lanci is the copy editor and founder of Untold Story Copywriting, which is interesting because you were a speech-delayed child, and I know you're going to talk a little bit more about that, so that's super exciting. Thank you for being here. And we have John Richardson, and he is the owner of Fire Up Today, and he specializes in cash flow branding. I'm so excited to talk with you. And you also have a term I think you coined, which is the imposter syndrome, and I know the audience will be really excited to hear a little bit more about that. So we'll get to that, but first I'd love to ask you, Mary Ann, because we're going to talk about overcoming obstacles, and we all have obstacles that we've had to overcome in life, and of course, honing your craft and business, you can help others to overcome obstacles in doing what you do. So you were a real estate agent part-time for a very long time, right. And then you had to overcome the belief not only for yourself but your spouse, believing that it would actually you could get out of the IT industry and get into real estate and make a really good full-time income. So talk a little bit about that and how you overcame that obstacle and moved into doing what you get to do best.
So yes, I have been, like you said, been part-time for so long, and with my IT career, it came to realize that my passion was more of really touching the people out there, and my passion is educating them. So I really had to overcome and make that decision. Do I really want to stay in IT, or do I want to do real estate full-time and helping out everyone else and educating them? So what I had to do to overcome it is really connect with like-minded people, all the different successful agents around the county, around the country per se. So I had joined Tom Ferry coaching program, where there's various different agents all over the country and even the world. So I get to talk to all the different successful agents. What do they do to get to where they are?
Awesome. And I know we're going to hear a little bit more about why being the Cookie Lady makes you super special, among other things, and we're going to talk a little bit about that in a little bit. But thank you so much for sharing, and that's very inspiring. And other people can now know that they can go out and overcome an obstacle of maybe not having belief that what they really want to do is going to help them have a really viable full-time salary. So thank you so much, Mary Ann. And Amy, I'm very excited to hear from you about how you overcame, of course, the obstacle of being a speech-delayed child. I know we talked a little bit earlier about how that actually made you so much better at what you get to do. So tell us a little bit about that journey.
Okay, so when I was a child, I was, as you said, I was speech delayed, and that just meant I didn't say mommy or daddy till I was 3 years old, and that entailed a lot of feeling very uncomfortable in my skin. That entailed a lot of shyness. I literally was hiding underneath tables at restaurants. Like, my parents didn't know what to do with me, and I went through several years of speech therapy. And even after that, I went on to be a straight A student, but I felt very ashamed of it for a long time. Like, oh, I was a child that was behind. But after so many years of tackling my own health, tackling my own business, I realized that once I owned my story, that really that part of my life was fertile ground for my gifts as a copywriter, because as a copywriter, I help people find the right word to describe what they do. And when I look back at being a speech delayed child, I realized that it made me a much better listener than I ever thought possible. And even though I wasn't saying anything, I understood what people were saying, whether or not it came out of their mouths. And that yielded to what I do with my clients now, is I actually pull out their story. There's so many times when I've actually been with a client or even a stranger where they've told me things that they never said out loud before.
Wow.
And I can do that in 20 minutes sometimes,
Oh,
depending on the situation.
I'm so excited to hear more about how you really help others to overcome not really having the words to say things, or maybe not even knowing that they do have the words and you can see it or pull that out of them. So I'm very excited to hear more about you and what you get to do for others and help them overcome here in a few minutes. So John, I know you had talked about imposter syndrome, and I'm going to have a follow-up question after this, but we want to hear a little bit about what is imposter syndrome in cash flow branding, or being that expert out there in the media.
Well, my blog tends to work for creatives and solopreneurs and people that are out there by themselves. And creatives, a lot of times, you're developing a product that nobody else has. You're putting everything about you into a product or a design or a written document. It's you on paper, and you're sharing it with the world. And all of a sudden, if that thing doesn't take off, or you perceive it is not as good as someone else's, it becomes this imposter syndrome, and it comes into, I'm not good enough. I'm not as good as that other person. And we get in this comparison mode. And even some of the top people get into this mode where we start comparing ourselves with people that have more traffic or are more famous, and we start downgrading ourselves. And I've seen it so many times with creatives and entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, because we're out there by ourselves, we have no one to share with, and those negative, I call them those negative nannies that are negative nabobs that are sitting on our shoulder, just whispering in our ear saying, "You're not good enough, you're not good enough." And we just need to overcome that.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. That's amazing. And I want to follow that up, because I know that we had talked earlier about there was a pivot point in your life that led you to overcome and really hone in on being, I really feel like you're the expert for all the experts out there. Like that's your the gift you give to the world. So what was a pivot point that really led to what you do and your passion in what you do?
I was at an after lunch speaker at a Toastmasters conference. It was 1:30 in the afternoon. I was sitting in the aisle, and I said to myself, I'm probably going to fall asleep because of the pasta lunch, so I want to find a seat where I can hide a little bit. But unfortunately, the speaker, who was a middle-aged African-American fellow, walks down the center aisle, looks at my name tag, and points at me, and in a loud voice he says, "John, what time is it?" And put me totally on the spot. He went on to talk about his experience, why he was there, and it turns out he was a speaker talking about goal setting. And the reason he was goal setting, and the meaning of that word, was that he'd gone through this harrowing experience back in New York where he was off site from his home, and his house where he lived caught on fire, and he lost his mother and 2 siblings to a fire. And he didn't get there in time. They didn't have time to get out, and he didn't get there in time. And it was just this whole thing of, what time is it? And you talk about powerful. I walked out of there thinking I'm going to take a nap, and this guy changed my life with those 4 words. And they've been my go-to words for years. And after that, I set a goal for 90 days. And this is something I'd never done before. I'd lost 26 pounds in 90 days, and went on to take a leadership role at work and at church. It was just this amazing transformation in me with 4 words, and just a pivot of hearing someone who went through this harrowing experience. And
it's incredible.
So for me, I just like to share, because each of us probably have those things. We can share those, and other people may can pivot from it.
Absolutely. I mean, how one speaker can change a life, or 4 words can change a life and really have an impact. And that's amazing. And I'm so excited to come back here. So don't go away. We're going to talk about how these incredible individuals help others overcome their challenges and their obstacles in life and business. So I'm Kimberly Whitfield, your host, and we'll see you back shortly.
Hey guys, how are you today?
Good.
I'm here to talk about how with technology you can make amazing worlds. Come with me. My team and I bring the Halo world to life.
Is that you?
That is me. I wasn't a math genius, and I knew nothing about coding. But you guys do. You guys have the power to change things.
I want your job.
I want you to have my job.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
Hello and welcome back. I'm your host, Kimberly Whitfield, and we are joined today by Mary Ann, Amy, and John. And right now we're going to talk a little bit about how they help in their owning of their craft and their passion for what they do, how they help others to overcome obstacles in mostly business, but also in life. So Mary Ann, I know you have been coined the cookie lady, and I know that probably goes into why you can sell some of the unsellable homes. So talk a little bit about how you have become an agent that can go out there and take an expired listing that hasn't sold and turn around and sell it very quickly.
Oh, thank you, Kim. Thank you for having me here. So I have sold a few expireds that called me that have been on the market for quite some time and didn't sell the first time. So what I do is I come out to their property and take a look at it and see what needs to change and whatnot, how we can market the property correctly and sell it as fast as we could. So one of those things is when I come out there, I take a look at the property. Is it set up correctly? Can we do something? Can we remove certain things? Staging is really important on the property I'm selling. So staging, getting it ready, that's one of the specialties that I do, making sure that it's presentable to everyone, not just the current owners.
Absolutely, and you make cookies in every home that you are listing, right? For the open houses?
Yeah, so I do. I make fresh baked chocolate chip cookies from scratch, and I bring them on my appointments. And those are also, yes.
On the appointments and when you do open houses?
Yes,
okay.
Yes. So all of my clients now are in love with those cookies.
Amazing. So maybe you need another side business, cookie business on the side too. And Mary Ann, I want to know a little bit more about how you have utilized your former career in IT to help relocating homeowners?
Yeah, so now in our times, in our days, this times that we can actually buy a home without being there. I've set a few clients, buyers that are relocating from the Midwest, East Coast, Northern California. They'll call and say, we have such a unique situation. We're relocating from such city to San Diego. I'm like, okay, great. When would you like to go? I send them properties where they want to be, and I'll set an appointment with them, and it's also an appointment with the listing agent. What I do is I'll go out there by myself with my phones, different phones, different. I would do either FaceTime, do a quick video, take pictures, send them over. While I'm at the house, the buyers are on the other side waiting for me. I'm on the phone with them asking, okay, did you receive the videos? Did you receive the pictures? Do you have questions? What kind of questions do you have? So I put a lot of home buyers into escrow without them seeing it first.
That's incredible. And that is really utilizing technology at its finest, right? Yes. Amazing. She's going to go out of the way to make sure you all are taken care of. Thank you so much, Mary Ann. That's very exciting. And I still love the cookies. Maybe you'll bring them next time for filming? I don't know.
They're actually here.
oh my goodness.
We do have some.
All right. So where are they? Right here. No. Okay, so Amy, so I really want to, I know that one of the challenges, and especially for me in business, and I know for a lot of people in business, and is to be able to find the words to describe what they do in the most eloquent and really descriptive, beautiful way. And because of the challenges that you had, and which actually make you a better listener and make you a better at what you do, I'd love to hear your process on how you do really pull out someone's story and how someone might describe their business. How do you help business owners to overcome that?
So essentially what I do is first of all, I ask them, do you know who your target audience is? And that's a really huge problem, as you know, as a business owner, to niche down and be able to describe, because we all want to help everyone, and that's why we got into this business, to help people. No matter what industry we're in, we're just here to serve. But if you're talking to everyone, you're not talking to anyone.
Oh, yeah.
And so when you are clear who you're talking to, that goes a long way. So we gotta get clear on that, and then we gotta talk about why they're doing what they're doing. And I actually had this one woman who, she's been in business for 30 years. She knew she loved what she was doing, but she didn't know why exactly. And then I happened to have met her, and then the next day there was a light bulb in her. She said, Amy, after 30 years, I finally know why I'm in business. I didn't know why, but now I do. And my life is forever changed because of that. It's like, wow. And that was just because I allowed her to tell her story. And not only that, so I have a scientific brain and I have a creative brain. I have a two-brain thing kind of going. So
Which is not normal. I don't think most people have. It's probably as a result of your childhood. That's
yes,
amazing.
Yes, and I actually have a biology degree from UC San Diego. So I actually have.
Wow.
I work on both sides. So sometimes it goes through one side and then I translate the other side. So that's why I have another gift of decluttering ideas. So when business owners are like I'm trying to help them find the right words, and they're trying to find the right words to tell me. And I said, no, just talk about it. Just say whatever comes to mind and I'll help you. And so I essentially just had them create an idea pile, not literally a pile, but a theoretical pile. It's on here, and then my brain just kind of sorts it out. Like, okay, this is their audience. This is the relevant topic. Does this all make sense? Let's throw this out. Let's throw that out. Okay, you're actually really saying this. So it's essentially just that they just need to be open to talking to me, and just be ready to just say, well, this is my audience. This is how I got here. This is why it's important to me, and just lay out on the table, literally.
Awesome. And so Amy, you can help real estate agents how to describe their special skills. Someone like Marianne.
Yeah.
So that's a beautiful thing.
I was just thinking of that because she's an IT person, but she's in real estate too.
Yeah.
So I mean, you were an IT person, now you're in real estate. So you work on different parts. I mean, we all work in different parts of our brains, but you basically jumped over from one area to another area, and you're able to combine that in your own special way, in your own special method. And I'm sure that in some way you kind of have to run through the entire story when you're meeting a new prospect, right? And so sometimes they don't have 10 minutes to sit there listen to the entire thing. Sometimes you just need to have like a 1 to 3 minute version. So that's one way I could help real estate agents like her, or you.
That's amazing.
Or sometimes like you were just talking about like expired listings, and they just been on the market and they just never sold. Like, well, sometimes I can go in and look at the original listing and say, well, actually, if you change this and this and this, because your target audience is actually looking at these other selling points.
Absolutely.
That would make it better.
That's such great information, Amy. Thank you so much. And John, I really want to move on to you. So this is something I'm so fascinated by is cash flow branding, using your personal brand to create cash flow. So how do you help individuals or entrepreneurs or anybody create their own brand and create cash flow? How do you do that?
It's very interesting because in 2019, we're dealing with all these social media and online companies, and basically what they are is large databases. And in the databases, there's words, and there's words that someone like Amy writes. She'll write copy, and we want to make sure those words that tie in with our product or service are included in her copy, and they get put on the right databases. That database might be Facebook, it might be Twitter, hopefully it's your own website. And on your own website, that's where you write some articles that you become the authority. You become the person that knows more than anybody else about staging a home, for example. You would write an article that say maybe 1,200, 1,300, maybe 2,000 words on staging a home. Put in the keywords that would match up to products and or services that you have, and then put that out on your own website, and you can copy it out to other media. So when people see that, they come back to you, and then you link from there to a product or service. So in your case, you could link off to all sorts of products to stage a home. You could have statues or covers for furniture or furniture itself where you would get affiliate income. So they come back to you, they buy the products, and you don't have to do any selling because you've already written it, and you work with someone like Amy who helps you with that copy to make sure it's really tight, and you've got a side hustle. You've got another way to bring income in and help your clients. All of a sudden, you're not only the cookie lady, but you're the house staging lady. You're the person who can help them in these different areas. And you become the authority. And not only are you working with your local clients, but you're working with agents all around the country and around the world.
Absolutely. So John, when we come back, we're going to finish up with you. We're going to come back to you because I know there's a few other things that I know I want you to talk about that I'm excited about. So don't go away. When we come back, we're going to hear more from John and how he's the expert for all the other experts out there. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Put the keys down, Kevin.
But I'm gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
My text to emoji ratio has gotten a little out of hand.
A little?
Yep, I'm definitely gonna call a ride home.
First time I tried Vicodin, and it was laying around my mom's house. I didn't know they'd be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more. Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
Welcome back to the Finest Women in Real Estate. I'm your host, Kimberly Whitfield, and we left off with John talking about how you can create cash flow in branding. So, John, we want to continue to hear from you because I want to make sure we get all of it out of you.
Sure. Once we get the words, we get the products in place, then we go behind the scenes, behind the curtain, and do a data analysis, and we see what's working. We might put two products up side by side and do an A and B test. Does this one that's orange convert better than this one that's green? We'll look at different criteria, and from that we can fine-tune the products and the services and the words that are converting. It's called search engine optimization, and we do that on each of the databases. So we look at how Facebook is converting, and that may convert completely different than Google and may work different than Twitter. So it's that kind of Magic of Oz behind the curtain.
I love it. That's beautiful. I love it. Magic of Oz. Yeah. So Amy, just final words, final thoughts for how you can really help real estate agents and others.
Essentially, just go up to them and say, don't wait, tell your story, own it, because you're going to find the right words that you need when you do that.
Awesome. And Amy's going to help you find those right words for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. With both sides of her brain. With both
yes.
sides of her brain.
Yeah. A/B test her brain.
Yes,
right.
wonderful.
That's amazing.
And Marianne, what are some final words from you for the audience today?
Really, if you are looking out to sell your property, come talk to a real estate agent or come talk to me if you're out in San Diego. Also for buyers, anywhere in the country, come call me.
Absolutely, because she can get you here from anywhere. Thank you all so much. It's been an honor to really learn from the best of the best, and I'm very excited to have brought this all to you today. Marianne being the agent that can sell a home that other agents couldn't sell a home, and she does it with her special little things that make her unique, like cookies. And Amy with utilizing both sides of her brain to really pull out the beauty of your story and what you can offer the world. And John and his I keep saying this, I feel like you're the expert for everyone else who looks like experts out there. And that's what I want. I want all of you to be a part of my life and helping me hone my craft. And do what I do better. And so all of you should know that these are some incredible experts in their field, and they're going to really be able to help you to put yourself out there when maybe you didn't think you could brand yourself, whether you're a real estate agent or in solar like me or whatever you do. You have some great experts that you find on shows like this to be able to learn and get excited about what your future looks like and overcome what most might think are obstacles, but that's why we have experts like we have here today. So thank you so much for watching. I am excited to have you watch us on our future episodes. You can watch 24/7, you can watch old episodes too, 24/7 on Roku and Amazon Prime TV on the EAN TV network. Thank you so much for joining. I am your host, Kimberly Whitfield, and we look forward to you tuning in again soon.